Zen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You ever been to a Zen retreat? No. Zen retreat? No. Telling her to put her phone away. It's okay. You never know. Make sure your phones are on in case you get an important call. Yeah. It shouldn't matter. I mean, we need to meditate when there's distractions too, right? Not just, hey, shut up, I'm meditating. It's like kind of defeats the purpose. Anyway, they would, if you slouched, I did one. I got reminded once. If you slouched, there's this guy walking around with a stick, and he'll tap you on the shoulder to sort of like prepare you, and then he kind of whacks you on the shoulder. No, it's good. It's like, wakes you up. A lot of different traditions, huh? Tibetan and Buddhism. So this is today's talking about Vajrayana, which is secret, so we can't say anything. So we'll try to talk around it or about it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Anybody ever have an initiation in Tibetan Buddhism? Yeah. That's yeah. So it's good. We take it slow. Take it slow to get take it go slow to go fast. I don't know if it's fast. Depends on our practice. So um I was just checking to see if there's a 4-arm Chenrezig, but there's only 1,000-arm Chenrezig. So the okay, it's not idol worship. They're to remind us of certain aspects of they're all of like our Buddha nature. Like you look at that and it's like, it's supposed to bring up this feeling of it feels like, I think I said this before, but Freud said something like the best we could hope for is to become slightly neurotic. And in Buddhism, it's like we can become totally free of suffering. We can become enlightened. We can become capable of benefiting all beings. Our awareness is not limited by this body. It's vast. Our awareness is vast. And we're connected with all beings. We're connected with all the Buddha energy. And our core is, so it's like this core of our awareness is pristine. It's pristine. It's not, it's covered over by mistaken views and afflictions that arise out of that, but at the core, we're pretty groovy, right? Very, very free and open. And so if we looking at an image of the Buddha can remind us of that, because what he did was he woke up to that. He got in touch with that, and it became who he was. It sounds, it would have been nice to have been around at that time. But somebody asked him who he was. Are you a human being? And he said, no. Are you a god? He said, no. Well, what are you then? He said, I'm awake. So he wasn't, I think it was Pierre, no, it was, I got this quote, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Anybody know that French philosopher? He said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So it's not like we're you know, we're striving to reach this thing that's somewhere else. It's right here within us. We have um, that freedom and that compassion and wisdom within us. We are a spiritual being, and we believe that we're human. That makes sense at all? I mean, in a way, it kind of does, because I certainly get caught up in that. Oh, I'm a human being doing, and then you lose track of this Buddha nature. You lose track of this power plant inside us. This energy, this pure energy, right? So a lot of the journey is clearing away the clouds to be able to recognize that, like the obscurations, the afflictions, we get caught up in jealousy or craving for something or hating, and now we're in that limited, contracted view of this human body needing things and fighting off things. But if we get into that more spacious spiritual consciousness awareness that is free of that, then those things take on less importance, right? Because that itself will bring satisfaction within us. So if we're always looking for it outside, if we think we have to find it outside or take care of this body, and it's limited to this lifetime in this body, and um, then we're always searching and craving, but if we tune into that purity, there's some steep satisfaction and contentment, and we still have all that come up, and we still have to live our life, but we're coming from a different point of view, right? Coming from a more spacious, open point of view. I wrote like 7 pages here. I didn't put any of that down. Like, what the hell's going on? I didn't get it. So anyway, but the quote I liked. And then for the motivation, I thought Lama Yeshe said, your ups and down emotions are like clouds in the sky. Beyond them, the real basic human nature is clear and pure. So we can motivate that not only may we get in touch with that, and live in that, but may all beings live in that. And so we'll be together for an hour and a half and see if we can't foster that outlook, right? Or as one of my teachers called it, a basis of operation. So in one retreat, we would have a pal, and we'd call each other at odd times and say, okay, what's your basis of operation right now? Are you in like just you know dualistic view, craving and grasping? That's out there. I'm over here. Remember we did that whole I thing? It's not out there. It's like a combination. Take in light, electrical signal, goes to the brain interprets it, got a mental image. So it's like I'm just caught up in thought. That's a basis of operation. I'm caught up in an emotion. um I'm in, remember we did the meditation on awareness, getting to awareness last week, like turning and looking at who's looking at awareness. Am I in awareness? Am I aware of the empty quality of things, that they don't exist from their own side, that they am I aware of impermanence? So it's sort of like checking up, like where are we during the day? That's a good thing to do. So Lama's saying if we stay in that basic human nature, is clean and clear, he used to say, um, then the other things are like clouds. We're aware of them. We interact, but we know that this too shall pass, and maybe we don't get too attached and caught up, because that's what brings a lot of the suffering, a lot of the dissatisfied mind. Yeah. So may all beings enjoy the freedom of being in their clean, clear mind. You know. And so there can be a certain sense of satisfaction in that, and then we create less negative karma, right? Um, Less suffering for ourselves and others. I think that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Um, so we're going to talk a bit about Vajrayana today, and it's got other names: Vajrayana, Tantra, Tantriana, Secret Mantra, Mantriana. So you may hear those things. Yeah. So it's another uh, method. Uh, Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Uh, Hinayana's got changed to fundamental way or Theravadan path, I think, because Hinayana means lesser. Maybe the Mahayanas came up with that. You know, you're lesser, we're greater. But it's sort of the scope of the motivation there. Um, the motivation of taking on the responsibility to bring all beings to enlightenment. Whereas sometimes there's great compassion in like just wanting to get out of for yourself, get out of suffering, and that can happen. You can just work for yourself to get liberated. You know, understand emptiness. You break the bounds of being in cyclic existence, being reborn again and again into a suffering situation. Because you've got the root out. Remember we talked about the root last week? Got the root out. You pulled the root out, the root of ignorance. But and then Mahayana is having that great motivation. Then also name for Vajrayana is Mahayana Vajrayana because it's Mahayana. Vajrayana is Mahayana. Okay. Could you say Vajrayana is yeah, I think it goes both ways. So no, Mahayana is not necessarily Vajrayana, but Vajrayana is Mahayana. So those prerequisites are really important that we've gone through the three scopes of renunciation. Like we've really looked at our own situation. We see that we're suffering. Boy, I want to, and having this yearning to be free of that suffering, and studying about karma and cause and effect. And boy, it makes a difference what I do. You know, you reap what you sow, and I don't know when it'll ripen, but it's sure to ripen unless I do there's four opponent. You can, not everything's, it's not destiny. If you do something bad, you can have regret and say, I don't want to do that again. And I know it affected myself and others and resolve not to do it again and maybe make amends somehow or do some practice. Like if you were stingy and stole something, maybe you could be generous, have regret, not guilt or, like that, like I'm a bad person, I'll never be any good. It's not like that. So having that background and then wanting to get out of some, and then realizing, wow, I just me alone. No, it's not going to work. So bodhicitta, this altruistic intention to gain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings, right? And then there's three ways to do that for a bodhi. It's called a bodhisattva once you enter that path. So it's like um, you could be a shepherd bodhisattva, where you want you know the sheep, you get them all going, like you're going to be last to get enlightened. I want everybody to get enlightened before me. Then I'll get enlightened. Or you're a boatsman. You all want to get enlightened together. I want to get enlightened with everybody. Or like a king, where you're going to get enlightened, and then you're going to have all this ability to like help people, right? Because you'll have resources, emotional resources. On my way here, I was thinking, some people early in the morning they go to the gym to work out, and you guys are here at the gym, the mental gym. Me too. It's like we're working out. Did you work out today? Yeah. So, because the mind is the source. So the bodhicitta is really that getting that in gear early on, even though it might be just words, but then studying more. We've done some meditations on that, where we've gone through the steps of how to build up to bodhicitta with compassion and love. And Tonlan, we did Tonlan. So these practices you just keep doing. It's not like, oh, I got that now. No, the Tibetan, there's like uh, all these texts, all these there's texts, there's teachings, then there's commentaries on the teachings. There's all these meditations. There's a lot of study. There's a lot of yeah. So I think just you keep studying and you keep contemplating and keep meditating on these subjects. Sometimes people when they find the more they've been meditating, the more they really value meditations on on compassion and love, and it never gets old, right? You keep at that stuff. And then we worked on emptiness. That's the third prerequisite of Tantra is having some understanding of how things are interdependent, right? That things, and that ties in with cause and effect. Things are connected. Um, things are made of parts. They created by causes and effect. They mutually dependent, high, low. This is low, this is high. Then somebody comes along who's higher. Now this is low. So it's name only, nominally. You know, just by things are just designated by name. But if we look into them, if we get it, we do analysis, we start looking into it, we can't find clock right here, right? There's nothing in here there's nothing in here that's clock. If you took it apart, you wouldn't find something right in there somewhere that's got clock. Would it have it written on it, or would it just say it? I'm here. So you search for your I, yourself, and can you find it? So we did some of that, right, last week. So those three things, you get going on those, and then this unbearable. You start feeling because now you feel even more connected with all beings because of the emptiness. Emptiness enhances the bodhicitta, and bodhicitta enhances they start working together. They're like a tag team. They're really important. They're two wings of a bird. They're both going, both got to be there. So you work on those, and it's kind of working on them and getting them going, and then you get, it's like I got to get enlightened, quick. And then the Tantrayana or Vajrayana comes up as a path. So yana means vehicle. Maha is great, but means bodhicitta, it's bodhicitta motivation. And Vajra is indestructible and like a diamond, and also has that fast connotation. So it's another method, has more methods, but they're all designed to alleviate suffering. That was the first noble truth, the truth of suffering that the Buddha taught. And, the cause is, so that was his main goal. It wasn't like some philosophy about the universe. I think there are 13 questions he wouldn't answer. Like, what is the origin of the universe or something like that, Some of the other day said it was a Big Bang was the start. And I said, well, what came before the Big Bang? What's created the Big Bang? And then it's like, I think it was Aquinas. He started tracing back cause and effect. Like, where's the beginning? What's the first cause? And and it can be quite a kind of like, so he went to God. He had that background, and so he went to God, right? God created. So where did God come from? Now, God could mean different things, So it depends on what somebody means by that, I think. But so beginningless mind, huh? In Tibetan Buddhism, beginningless mind. Your mind is beginningless, and it's endless. It's never gonna stop. Right? We went over that. So, whenever you see a statue, often, or even a Tonka painting, they're often sitting on a lotus, sun, moon, and a sun disk, or lotus, sun and moon, or lotus, moon, and sun, right? And they represent renunciation, the lotus. The moon is bodhicitta, and the sun is wisdom or emptiness. So that's the foundation of becoming enlightened. Everything has meaning when you these statues or you see tankas, like everything is related to the mind and development of the mind. It's all a tool to, not a tool, but it's all to remind us of the qualities of an enlightened mind, the positive qualities of the mind, and what it's based on. This renunciation, bodhicitta, right? Sometimes you'll see, you'll see. So many in here. Oh yeah, you'll see like Tara, right? Maybe you can't see it. White Tara. Can you see that? No? Oh, you can't see. Okay. There's there's four-arm Chenrezig up behind thousand-arm Chenrezig. So Chenrezig's, I'm gonna preview that because we're gonna get to that later. But it's like, he's holding a wish-fulfilling jewel, which is bodhicitta, because bodhicitta will bring happiness to you and everyone. So whatever you wish for, like a wish-fulfilling jewel, materially is something. If you had anything you wanted, you could just. It's like one of those. What is it? The genie in the lamp. But you don't just get three wishes. It's like forever. You'd have this. So that's what bodhicitta is. If you have bodhicitta, whew. And then he's got a lotus, which sometimes it represents purity, sometimes it represents, in the mantra it represents wisdom. So then looking at Chenrezig is like to remind us of compassion. So he's like he's specialized in compassion. Like some of them make aspirations, like they want to help in a certain way. Manjushri is wisdom. Vajrapani is skillful means. So they help us develop certain qualities within ourselves, certain enlightened qualities, right? But when you're doing a practice, all those things are the bodhicitta and the wisdom, you realize that it doesn't exist. It's a visualization, right? When you do the practice, that's a reminder. But if you're doing mantras, say, you visualize Chenrezig, and it's a mental image. It's an imagination. And it's a personification of compassion. That's what it is. And so instead of just like compassion, and it's like this vague thing, it's something to focus on and have stabilization on, concentration on. Let's say, did I say he for Chenrezig? I didn't, did I? Them. I think it's androgynous. I don't think it's male. The Lama Yeshe was really good about emphasizing that we all have male and female qualities, and we develop them to be in harmony. That something like that, yeah. So then that becomes a focal point for developing compassion, right? Or if you feel like you want to work on wisdom, you can call on, so it's sort of like calling on the forces of the universe to come together in this one image, like empowering. That's what initiation is an empowerment. So when you do take an initiation, like you need initiation to be able to visualize yourself as, say, Chenrezig. And why would I do that? Well, because right now I visualize myself as something very concrete and solid. It doesn't feel empty. or it doesn't feel spacious, or it's not in line with when we studied emptiness and looked at that. It's not in line with that. Bodhicitta is hard to call up, but here's a personification. Here's an image I can have if you had initiation. If then this is an image I have of myself that is already enlightened. It's also called the resultant stage. So instead of creating the cause for enlightenment, you're being enlightened now. Like, be the result now. Like, do you know people who like I don't know if I can do it, I don't think I can do it. It's too hard, you know. So this cuts that limited view, that I can't do it view. You see what I mean? Like, I can do it. I'm Chen Rezik, But you got to be really careful because it's not based on the renunciation, bodhicitta, and right view. Then you just get big ego. It gets worse. Things can get worse, right? It can make things worse in our mind, right? We get more pride and more, "Oh, I can do anything, and you create bad karma and things like that. So, but it's knowing that. So usually when you take initiations, there's like more vows involved, like the 5 lay vows that we talked about. I won't kill, steal, lie, sexual misconduct, or drink alcohol, say, or the 10 non-virtues. Then you get into the 18 bodhisattva vows and the 46 auxiliary bodhisattva vows, and then there's the 14 tantric vows and auxiliary vows, and then there's the 50 verses of guru devotion, right? That's amazing. It's just like, and sometimes in the past, I was reading something this morning, like His Holiness was saying, people have to be careful. Sometimes they, oh, it's Lama's giving this initiation. Yeah, I'm going to go take this initiation. And he says, no, be careful, because he knows people who've gotten into that like that, and then they get commitments. When you take initiation, you get commitments to say like 6 session guru yoga every day, or to say a mantra every day. And if you get a commentary on a practice, then you have to do a retreat on it. So it's like it's not like it's not a it's not, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I thought about this later. It's like, because that's where a connection with your teacher is so important. Like the teacher that you get that initiation from it's so important. Like you want to make sure you trust that person, and you've heard about them, and that it seems, and you go and ask them, should I do this? And and you do it, and then like the commitment is like, I get to meet him every day at 5 o'clock, at 6 in the morning. Got this date once a day. That's more what the commitment is. At times it's like, oh my God, I got to do this thing every day. But if you've developed that connection and develop the bodhicitta and the emptiness to some degree, and then it's like, oh, this is a good thing. I brush my teeth every day. You know, can I brush my mind every day? I wash my face. I could clean up my mental act a little bit every day. Spend some time, right? So you make a commitment to that. I'm going to go to the gym every day, the mental gym every day. Work out. Yeah. So he was sort of cautioning what I read this morning. Was like, yeah, be careful. But some of us back in the 70s, you know, were running into initiations, and lamas giving initiations and things. And we go, what? What's this? And we wouldn't even know anything about the vows until we were in the ceremony, and they were saying, okay, now we're going to take the bodhisattva vows. And now the tantric vows. So it's, then you go, they say, study these. So it's good to be a bit prepared. And then sometimes you'd go, oh, I'm just gonna, um, sometimes, so if you get a connection with a teacher, then sometimes they'll recommend you do something, or, you know, you should do this, or you can ask them, what should I do? Anyway, so that's that part. So remember we did this, I'm going to do meditation now. I'm only, uh, I'm only 35 minutes late on that. So, you remember we did the meditation about if all beings were my mother? You weren't here for that one. It was a way to develop bodhicitta. It was a step-by-step thing. So all beings have been my mother, okay, because of beginningless mind, right? So if beginningless mind, then we've all been we've all been in relationship. There's all these possibilities then of us being in relationship. But anyway, it's a way to foster affection and for others, for other humans, right? Other and animals. Like so, when you see them, you have they, you know, these people been so kind. You know, how do I repay that kindness? And then, and first there was equanimity, right? Friend, enemy, stranger, and and so you get to where, oh, it's all I'm just creating that from my mind. And so, what if we saw everybody as Buddhas, as enlightened beings? We don't know, do we? We don't know who's even if somebody's angry or driving erratically, we don't know who they are or what's going on. There were some crazy yogis back in the day. There were Tilopa, Naropa. Tilopa made Naropa do crazy things. I mean, there's these stories. So it's like, when he first met him, he was eating fish guts at the river. It's like, that can't be him. I'm looking for Tilopa. Have you seen him? Yeah, he's down at the river eating fish guts. That can't be him. Because I have a different image of what guru is going to look like. So that was back in the day. I don't think that happens too much anymore. Way back. So who's Buddha? We don't. So that's another way to be respectful of people, right? Is like we don't know. Um, so how do we get to that headspace? How do we get to that place where we can do that? So it's again, it's it takes those three prerequisites: renunciation, bodhicitta, right view, working on those, and then they're all methods to eliminate afflictions and misconceptions. Same with Vajrayana. But here we're using more visualization and imagination, visualization, sound. We're using more our environment, but it's not. That's the purpose. Is these three principal aspects of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta. It's trying to bring those together, bodhicitta and wisdom, into one entity, not developing them separately, but um, in one, in yourself, they're joined together. They're inseparable. If you had an initiation and you're visualizing yourself. If not, then we visualize, what we're going to do, you visualize like Chenrezig above you, and they're the embodiment of wisdom and compassion together. So you get a twofer, right? And they're inseparable. So you work on that one. So let's do a little meditation on so try to pick a mentor or you could use Buddha if you have if you have some affinity to that. But Lama Yeshe, there's a book called Silent Mind, Holy Mind. He did a practice with using Jesus as a refuge, as somebody that personifies um, the kind of qualities you want to develop in yourself. You feel they have the knowledge and the wisdom and the compassion to lead you. You like could be Mother Teresa, could be um, who else? Who else could it be? The Dalai Lama could be the Dalai Lama. If you ever heard him talk, or um, sometimes if somebody has many teachers, like Dalai Lama, Lama Yeshe, Lama Zopa, they can all be in one Chenrezig, like visualize Chenrezig, and they're all there. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are there. You know, when you get into how many Buddhas are on the head of a pin? It's like they would say, well, there's infinite Buddhas in every atom and infinite atoms. So the mind expands, right? Trying to expand the mind. So do you have somebody in mind that you could use as a, yeah? Okay. It's good to have something in mind. Okay, so visualize somebody you really trust, somebody you have confidence in, source of inspiring strength for you. They can even have qualities that you would that you really admire, like patience or courage or lightheartedness, um, their wisdom, their insight, you really value. And visualize them out in front of you. Try to get we all know how to visualize. We could, if I said, visualize your, your bed where you sleep, you could visualize it, right? And get a mental image. So using imagination to visualize this person or yeah, embodiment of all these wonderful qualities. And they embody the whole universe of these qualities. They all congregate. They all are absorbed into this image. So it's made of light, not solid, and it's radiating light. Now visualize that from the crown of this, I'm going to say person's forehead, white light comes and it enters your forehead. And it cleanses all the physical problems. It fills your head, fills your whole body, and it purifies or cleanses the whole body of any suffering, any mental suffering, physical suffering. I have to really imagine that this is working, that this is happening, that any worries, misconceptions, especially related to the body, any harms we've done with the body, they're totally eliminated. Bodies totally clean, clear, a white light coming from the forehead of the person in front of you. This embodiment of love and compassion. Your body's filled up with light, clean, clear light. And then from the throat, red light comes. Really, the more you can feel it actually making that connection with you, coming into your throat, purifying any harsh speech, lies, deception, totally eliminated, totally just cleared up. And your whole body is filled with this red light. And your speech becomes helpful to others, helpful to yourself. Sounds are turned into teachings, Dharma teachings, and joy in the voice. And then in the heart, from the heart of this person to your heart, blue light comes into your heart, filling up your body. Really, really feel your whole body, especially the heart area, becoming blue light. All the wrong views, disturbing attitudes, really blue, very healing light. Makes us feel at peace, great contentment, compassion. Blue light. And we become like the sky, blue like the sky, embracing all the universe. So there's no limits, not limited by our skin or limited by our thoughts about our body being a limit. The mind expands, and all the limited, tight, contracted, narrow views vanish. Feel the spaciousness of the awareness. Clean, clear, knowing, vast. Then our mentor, our guide, dissolves into us. And all their good qualities and our highest potential, we also have those all inside ourselves. So they're activated. They're activated within ourselves. Their qualities merge with us, and we take on those qualities that we admired so much in them. So we receive this inspiring strength, this influence from them. And we can keep them at our heart to guide us through the day and night. Lama Yeshe said the essence of the Guru is wisdom, the perfectly clear and radiant state of mind in which bodhicitta awareness and the realization of emptiness are inseparably unified. So we can identify with that on a vast, universal scale, that vast potential. Okay? Okay. So you do the best you can with the visualizations. Like you can, if you don't get it, if it's not clear, then it just know that it's there. Just kind of know that it's there and it's happening, right? Um, it's not about visualizing or having a mala, or you'll see ritual instruments, uh, bell and dorji and damaru. It's about bodhicitta and wisdom. They represent those things. The bell represents wisdom. The vajra represents bodhicitta. So that it's awesome. It's all to remind us of inner qualities. Yeah. Okay. So so the emptiness is the same in sutra and tantra. Emptiness is the same. Not a different empty. Emptiness is emptiness. I mean, things don't exist from their own side. they don't, their things are interdependently connected. It's not, nothing can exist independently, right? So we have to work on that because we walk around, it looks like things are existing outside of me independently, right? So the more we can wear that down and wear down this sense of self being that way and the sense of object being that way, then there's less attachment, there's less craving and anger, and because we're not so holding on to a fixed view of how things are, right? So that's the same, but the method is different. The method is different, and the level of mind is different in Tantra. So um, early in there's a lot of analysis in sutra and in Tantra. You want to analyze, like uh, analyze means, okay, where am I? Where does the I exist? Is it in my body? Is it in my mind? That's right. What you're doing, a search, a Google search for the I, but inside your mind. Okay, trying to find the I. So that's analysis, right? So in Buddhism, the mind has different levels. That's it's a course level where we're like seeing things and we're forming concepts about them, and then there's more subtle levels where um, we're getting closer and closer to that. I don't want to say radioactive core. That just sounds power source, or the beginningless mind. Like what is that? It's a continuum. It's not an inherently existent thing, right? But it's like a river. So it flows. It's continuous. The mind is continuous, but it's changing, right? It's not fixed. It's not one thing going. Um, it's interacting and it's moving. So if we can get where we're not just when you analyze for a while and then you can stabilize on, okay, you can't find it and you stay there, can't find the I, and you stay there. There's awareness. There's still awareness. It's not nothing for there to be empty. It's empty. So there's an absence of clock. When you look for the clock, you can't find it. Then you go, there's an absence. So you're in awareness, and it's not, awareness isn't inherent either, but there is awareness. There is a knowing, and there's an illumination. So those are the two aspects of the mind. It's knowing, and there's things that happen in it, and there's an energy. So if you stabilize on that and get beyond not and you're not analyzing, then your method is sharper. You're using a sharper tool, you know. And analysis gets you a certain way, and then you get a different tool, a more subtle type of awareness to be in that emptiness. Okay. So the visualizations, and they're all creating an environment to enable you to do that, to bring out this, to recognize our Buddha nature, our own inherent goodness. Doesn't even describe it. I think, our own inherent, um, yeah. Well, they say, it's like wisdom, like, how things are. I mean, some of them, they know it, they can, they have, it's not what they do it for, but they really want to help, they really want to help people, so they can have some awareness of what other people are thinking about, or clairvoyance, or premonition. They kind of develop those things. In Tibet, they could fly. You know, some stories about monks flying. They've overcome gravity, or they could do tumo, where they sit and very cold and with nothing on, and or put a cotton thing on, and they would melt the ice with their inner heat. So the mind is like incredible. I mean, we look at them. We know the mind's powerful. We all this technology. Where'd that come from? Came from people's minds. People thought that stuff up, right? came out of the mind, right? So what if we applied that technology or that mind, that sharp mind, to looking at the mind and investigating it and seeing what mining it, like digging up its precious metals, its precious qualities, right? And bringing them out to help people. That's kind of what it's, kind of like that. So it's there, but it needs to be recognized. It needs to be brought out. It needs to be cultivated, developed, um, encouraged, set free, whatever. Yeah. So tantra is another method for that, and the day, visualizing it, that creates an environment, and it reminds you of that, and it keeps you on track, right? And like a mantra, you've heard of mantra? Heard that term? Mantra? Yeah. It means mind protection, right? That's one way. If you break it up, yeah, if you break it up, it's like there's knowledge, man, and tra is like the compassion. So it's got the wisdom and compassion, and it's if you're saying the mantra and you're really into it, then it protects your mind from other thoughts that are harmful, jealousy. So it protects your mind from afflictions, from anger and like that. So if you're doing the mantra and you're seeing and you're being compassion and you're sending out energy to help other beings from this base of wisdom and compassion, that's who you are. That's who you're identifying you are. That's if initiation, you can see yourself as Chenrezig. Otherwise, just Chenrezig is up here, and you bring him down, and he's in your heart, and you can you know remember that way, right? But they have this thing about not visualizing yourself, because the initiation is sort of uh, uh, I said empowerment. It's called an empowerment, but it also sort of connects you to that energy, because he like we just did this practice, so that it's a lot of that. So you're getting an example of what this is like. You're getting reminders of what this is like. You're somebody's there who's modeling this for you, and they're walking you through it. And so you have when some traditions call it like a pointing out, like you, oh, you get to somebody who's been there, right? They can help you maybe see it, right? Does that make sense? Like they've been to San Francisco, so they can sort of help you get there. Yeah. So that's why that's important. Teacher's so important. So somebody you trust and have confidence in. So the mantra is a sound, right? So you want to involve all your senses and all of um your voice, your mind, and your body all into wisdom and compassion. So your your thoughts are compassion. You're sending out love and compassion to others. From you can do it from Chenrezig and then up here. Let's just do that. Chenrezig's up here. I'm having a deja vu right now. You ever have those? Kind of fun. You have, huh? Yeah, yeah. That was a short one. So so not only is Chenrezig sending out compassion to you and filling you up with white light of compassion and energy, but to all beings, all beings, and you're thinking of beings in hospitals and animals that are suffering, and you're just wishing them, and not only just wishing, but active. Now you're actively, you really want to do something. And this, you're doing this, and you want to also, uh, you know, you ever come in contact with them? Like there's a spider in the shower this morning. I was just like, I was so excited. I have this little jar with the piece of paper. Do you have those around where you can catch spiders and things? So I was like, wow, I was gonna let me get my glasses on so I can get them out, put them outside. Then you just hope. outside he'll be okay. They'll be okay. So you're doing that, and then the mantra, your voice is involved, right? Now you've also involved your voice. Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Yeah. So you're totally it's all training, right? It's all practice. It's all trying to and so then you practice that on a cushion, and then you go out and you try to be like that. I'm going to try to remember emptiness and be compassionate, and I'm going to try to keep those in mind, both of those, so that my compassion doesn't go to to an extreme of pity and fixed ideas about people, and I remember that things change and my view may not be correct, and then I want to remember I want to fuse the compassion with emptiness, and I want to fuse emptiness with a lot of compassion because the compassion is the main thing, because emptiness can seem kind of neutral or kind of like dry, right? Things are interdependently connected, not what's that, nana nana nana, or blah blah blah. But the compassion, it doesn't work without compassion. It doesn't work. It speaks to compassion. It's not making it up. It's not, oh, we got to mix them together. They're already mixed. I mean, emptiness is love. Interdependence means love. We're all connected. It's like our body working together. It's working together. They're like, you call it love or call it whatever, but it's like, what the hell? It's like the blood's flowing, the heart's beating. I go to sleep, it keeps going. Wow. What is that? There's some intelligence and awareness. Huh? You think? It's already there. And there's this cooperation and there's this interdependence. And it's like we say leg and heart and liver, but they don't have that name. They don't go, yeah, I'm all heart over here. I do this, my job. They just do their job. They just help each other out. They work together. It works together, right? So in Tantra, the body's really special. It's not a really important because having this body is really helpful for practicing some of the tantric. Later, there's like the tumo, the drying the blankets. That's not just for fun. Like I can dry more cotton cloths than you can, or I can fly further. It's not about that. It's like it's still developing. The body has this ability to create conditions that we can get to that more settled state of mind to realize emptiness at a deeper level, to realize it with a deeper, it's like getting you don't, oh, I can't quite see it. Then you put on the glasses, oh, that's better. And then you get a telescope, you go, wow, right? You're looking at the moon or something, and then you get and it's, whoa. So it can bring up this sort of, wow, right? And then that feeling then helps us not get in trouble with, like, because what else is going to be wow? Oh, vanilla ice cream. Oh well, try it. Look through this. you know, you know what I mean? So there is something about those practices help people not only heighten their awareness to be able to uh, have deeper levels of realization, but that feeling that it brings up, one is quite content and satisfied. So then less afflictions happen. Does that make sense? Okay. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm so glad I write all this stuff down because, we're all over the place. No, not really. So we've constructed this reality. Huh? Yeah? With our minds, constructed this reality. This is a clock. This is this. And there you are. So this is about emptiness, about deconstructing that. Like, okay, it's not quite that way. It appears that way, but it's like a mirage. It's like a dream. Because if I analyze, it doesn't really exist that way. It doesn't exist out there, separate from me as a solid object, concrete, right? So that emptiness is really important to keep that in mind. So we're doing that. We visualize Chenrezig, And we know we visualized it. We know we created it. We know we created this. But now we have an image that's like made of light and has all these enlightened qualities, and it's radiating light. And so we're more likely to, it's like a window to that, right? It helps us keep that realization because because this is mostly space, but we can't see it. So we use our mental ability to deconstruct what our senses fool us into believing. No? I don't know. Seems so real, all this. So like a dream or like a mirage is a good one. Oh, there's water up there, right? And you get closer and it's like, no, okay, not so much. Oh, now it's further. Our dream, we totally buy into the dream. We're totally in it. And then we wake up and it's like, okay, that was just a mental images. It wasn't, I thought it was real. I thought it was really happening to me. It wasn't. So Tantra uses techniques that, is like a magnifying glass to that reality. Like, okay, here's Chenrezig, made of light. Don't be fooled. Radiating light. So it's again, it's to break down this concrete view we have of things, this limited view, radiating light and all the universe, universal love and compassion. Break down this limited, tight view we have of ourselves. What did Pierre say? We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So that human experience is limiting. So we're trying to let genie out of the bottle. Rub it with tantra. Rub it with the three principal aspects of the path. Like just keep rubbing. Keep practicing, right? When Milarepa, Milarepa was somebody who did some bad things when he was young and then killed people. And then he became enlightened in one lifetime. So he went off in a cave and meditated. So his final instruction to his disciple when they were parting, he turned around and he mooned him. He pulled down his pants and he mooned him. This is my final teaching, because his butt was like hard as a rock from sitting so much. It was just calloused over, and like he said, this is my final teaching. Sit, practice, you know. And they're all different. Everybody's different. Okay. His teacher was a householder, very active. He farmed, made several trips to India. So everybody's different. There's no one way. So to think, oh, I'm going to go be Milarepa, it's like, okay, I'm no Milarepa. Maybe I could try a little, maybe I'll do 2 weeks in a cabin, in a nice, comfortable cabin. So, but it is about putting in some time. So we deconstruct by the visual, we realize that, we did that analysis and we don't exist inherently. We don't exist from the own side. And out of that comes Chenrezig. Out of that, not, yeah. So out of that realization comes Chenrezig. That's compassion and emptiness. We're personifying our own Buddha nature, specific qualities of our own Buddha nature. Okay. So it was very secret. These practices were very secret back in, even some of the mind training practices of bodhicitta were very secret. Like Tonlen was very secret in Tibet, and it's because they felt it would be misunderstood, right? And Tantra sometimes not only misunderstood, But like I don't know if you've ever seen a statue of like it's called in Yabum. Like there's a male female embracing. They usually don't have them in the Gompa, right? But just to warn you, or wrathful, a wrathful deity, like that, You go, what the hell, So people could misunderstand that, right? But it's like method and wisdom. It's showing that they go together. Wisdom and compassion go together. It's showing that sometimes we need to be wrathful. Like remember some thought comes up, you get obsessed with it, and you just tell yourself, stop it. You So it's like, are the kids running out in the street and the mom yells at the kid, stop, get out of the street. It's like wrath, right? It's like that. You need that power sometimes to stop negative feelings or to save somebody from something. Somebody's doing something wrong and you yell, you get angry at them, but it's out of trying to help somebody. So it's not no. So it could be misunderstood. It could be misused. People could use it and create more problems for themselves. They do it to become uh, famous or make money, or look at more arrogance. Look at me. I'm they get this false pride in being Chenrezig. So it was kept secret and just usually just passed on to people. And sometimes they have to do all these preliminaries. Not only the lamrim that we talked about before, where you do, meditate on the liberation in the palm of your hand, go through all those steps, meditate on impermanence, perfect human rebirth, suffering, karma, go through the steps of developing bodhicitta, do this meditation on emptiness. Okay, now do 100,000 prostrations, do 100,000 mandala offerings, do 100,000 purification with Vajrasattva, do 100,000 Guru Yoga. Okay, now you're ready now I'll give you initiation. To wear down the restless mind and the scattered mind and the mind that is still seeking some sort of fame or gain or uh, temporary pleasure, in a sense, still tied to that human experience. When there's so much available, So sometimes people get initiation or get pointing out instructions before they've had all that, and it's they've been told it was okay, and they're like checked by they have a teacher, they're close with a teacher, and that teacher checks on them and sees how they're doing, and because that's how it used to be with this. You would go. Now we get teachings and we go off. We're kind of on our own. It used to be you'd have a teacher, and still I think it still works this way, but you have a teacher and you go and you practice and you come back to them and you say, well, this is what happened. And so you don't just do the 100,000. Maybe you do like a certain time, or you do it until you have a realization. So then you go to the teacher and say, okay, this and this happened. He says, well, try this now. Zen koans are like that. Remember I mentioned the Zen retreats. So I was in one, and my koan was, where's Buddha when you hear a bird? And it was the same koan I had for 10 days, whereas my friend had like 8. So like I'm slow. No. So it's like so it just depends on what's going on for you. Like how you go back, you get instruction, you go try that, you come back, so you have guidance, right? So that's why it's good to have a relationship with a teacher. Lama Zopa, I would call him, if I was having a hard time back when he was more available. Well, he's passed away but when he was more available in the early days, and you could get advice, and talk on the phone, and like, so it's nice to try to, see if you could connect with, and then you get into these practices, and then you have somebody you can, check in with. um, yeah, need to have the prerequisites. Um, and then there are daily practices you might get to do. So, I mean, you might be committed to do, and you get commentaries that helps explain things. Okay, we're gonna do a short Chenrezig practice. But remember Byron Katie? I brought her up before. No, do you remember? No. So she had a depression for many years, and then had this epiphany about we create our own suffering, right? Our thoughts create our suffering. So who would you be without your story? Know that one? I was going to have a break, but talk too much. So anyway, she's got a good one. Ready for this? If you knew how important you are, you would fragment into a billion pieces and just be light. Are you imagining that right now? You're really important. And if we knew that, we would just, yeah. And any concept keeps you from the awareness of that. If you really knew who you are without your story, you'd have to be the nameless, the limitless, the ecstatic love. She says it's so painful to live outside the light. I don't know. So we want to break it up. It's already we want to recognize that it's not breaking it up. It's not breaking up something that's solid. It's realizing it's not solid. Right? It's not breaking up something that's solid. It's not finding something that was there always. It's not there. It's not solid. So we're realizing that. And the methods in Tantra are like visualize it as light, right? Like start with visualizing, start with just imagining, right? It's like pretend you can do it. Really, there's two stages to Tantra. So the first is you pretend, you use your imagination, and you know you're doing it. You're constructing it, and you're deconstructing it, and you're constructing it, and you know you're doing it. Hopefully, sometimes you get lost in that. You start believing it's solid, and then it becomes more natural, right? Becomes more natural. That'd be nice. Um, okay, let's just do a quick Chenrezig. Okay, it's brief. Okay. Um, oh boy, everybody okay? Sorry, didn't stretch. We had a late start. We had technical difficulties. That was no one. What happens? And I talk too much. Okay. Okay. So let's do this real quick. Okay, but relax. Not quick, fast, but just it'll be a short one. So take some deep breaths. Feel your body relaxing. Your toes, feet are relaxed. Your legs are relaxed. Torso, your arms, shoulders, your face. Just let your body go. Feel the spaciousness of your body. Having an experience rather than thinking about it. Just experience your body relaxed. So visualize above the crown of your head embodiment of compassion. You can visualize Chenrezig, white in color. Yeah, above the crown of your head. So very light on this foundation of renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness, sitting on that throne. The embodiment of compassion, also wisdom, but we're seeing more the compassion side. So light and ambrosia is flowing down from Chenrezig. The light of compassion and wisdom flowing down into the crown of your head, permeating your entire body, your entire nervous system. Feel this cooling, warm, could be warm, that's better. Warm love, compassion, understanding. Mm. Eliminating all difficulties in the body and the mind, any suffering, worries. Your body feels completely free of any obstruction, like space. Your awareness is clean, clear, pristine, Chenrezig energy flowing down. And Chenrezig is embodiment of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So powerful, so vast. And Chenrezig is also on the crown of all sentient beings, doing the same thing to all sentient beings, everyone around you, all the human beings, all the animals that have turned into human beings. They're also Chenrezig compassion is flowing into them, that nectar and light flowing into them, filling them up with compassion and wisdom. And then we'll just say the mantra a little bit, and that helps us to focus our energy of feeling this cleansing and feeling all sentient beings experience this compassionate energy, compassionate wisdom energy of Chenrezig. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. You can say it too. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Say it a little bit to yourself. Now this Chenrezig absorbs into you, and your mind becomes the nature of great compassion. Whole body filled with light, very pure, crystal clear. And Chenrezig absorbs into all sentient beings, and they become pure compassion, pure love. And during the day, you can visualize a Chenrezig at your heart center, and then remind us to be compassionate throughout the day and loving. And then may all the disease, poverty, fighting, and quarrels be calmed. And may the Dharma and all auspiciousness increase throughout the worlds and directions where I and others dwell. Okay. Okay. Sorry I talked too much. I mean, I know myself when I meditate, maybe it's my own. I have to do some reading first and kind of prime the pump, like get excited, read something or, something that's gonna get me to sit still for a while. Prime the pump, yeah. Yeah. So just a couple more. I wanted to read a couple more quotes before we stop. So, dedications are really important. Motivations are really important. Sometimes it's really helpful to memorize verses that you find really inspiring, and then you could say throughout the day to yourself. Um, one short's good for me. I took one from Milarepa that he said to his sister. He said to his sister, so I put my name in it. He goes, therefore, Rich, do not create your own misery. Bring your mind back to its natural purity. So find verses that help you stay on track throughout the day or, can remind you. Put up post-its. We have one on our door on the way out. It says empty mind, which means, don't hold on to things, basically. you know. Here's another one. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Due to the positive potential accumulated by myself and others in the past, present, and future, may anyone who merely sees, hears, remembers, touches, or talks to you be freed in that very instant from suffering and abide in happiness forever. Huh? We got to do what we can do, right? We do. We got to do what we can do. Okay. No matter what. And this is Lama Zopa. Buddhas and other objects of refuge are always compassionately aware of us and our suffering and are ready to help, asking for their guidance. So we did the first meditation we did, sort of asking for their guidance, right? Asking for them to be near us and be in us, be with us. Asking for their guidance can help us discover solutions. Just thinking of them can bring comfort. You are never alone. Everywhere, all the time, there are numberless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas surrounding you, loving you, guiding you. After all, that is what they do. That's what they signed up for, and that's what they got a diploma in. They completed the course, they're done. They're not going to suffer anymore, and that's not even why they did it. They did it to help others, and the byproduct was they're blissed out. So pretty good thing. We got to do the raffle. Raffle time, yeah. You ready? I'm not just doing one, okay? I want to see if everybody can go away with it. Everybody can go away with something today. We'll start with this one. Are they all here? We
Is
hope
there
so.
anybody here that was not put into the poll?
Okay. Okay. I think you are, John.
I wrote your name on it and put you in the zone.
Who's at home? Can't read the name.
Kevin and Deborah.
And Deborah. Kevin, are you in the bowl?
Maybe she can't hear them.
Okay.
You go, Richard.
Oh, okay. Terry. It's not here. Got to be present to win.
Got to be present to win. No mail-in.
Next. Oh.
Give it. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa. In Tibetan Buddhism, they do these mo's. They're called mo's, and that's how they decide like who's going to be elected to something or who they're going to pick. Like say they have 4 candidates for a reincarnation of a lama. So they do a thing with a bowl where they roll it. They put the name in a dough ball, and then they twirl the thing around, and one of them jumps out. And then that's the one. So this one jumped out,
Out of the
came out. Jason.
Hey,
Oh, Introduction to Tantra by Lama Yeshe.
oh, very
Huh? Do you have it? All right. Oh, that's awesome. There you go. Okay. Do it again. Oh, go ahead. I like it when you pick one. Rhonda?
You hear, Rhonda?
I don't remember a Rhonda.
Gotta be present to win.
You do. Okay. Go ahead. Lucas is not here. I'd like to give him one.
To see you.
I mean, that's really showing. That's not fair, is it? I said we got to be present to
No,
win, and
right,
then I get
yeah.
Lucas, and I go, oh, I
Make an exception for Lucas.
yeah, but then what happens here?
Yeah.
What happened? Rhonda, I never.
Equanimity, right?
I don't know if I met Rhonda. Did I meet Rhonda? Was Rhonda ever here?
Here.
Terry was here. She.
We can send the merit to them at least.
Do one. Let's do another one. I'm kind of on hold right now. Deborah.
Deborah.
Deborah. Okay, Deborah. You have to let us know how to get
We
it
gotta
to you.
speak in the mic a little bit.
Oh, you have to tell us how to send your address to Tyler, and then he'll send it to me, and I'll send it to you, the book. Okay, Deborah?
Do I just put it in the chat or,
Oh, yeah.
You can.
Yeah, that'd be good.
okay,
Do you have Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism by Trungpa?
I do not.
Okay. Enjoy.
While I'm talking, I just want to say thank you for doing this class. I missed last week, but
Okay.
I was very glad to be here.
Oh, good. Thank you. Me too. I was glad to be here too. Every day is a, okay. One more, two more. Oh, no, Rhonda. You remember? No, she was Christina. That happened before. These two, I don't know.
Got plenty of names left in the bowl. So we might
Yeah,
as
I'd
well-
like to begin
might
with
as well acknowledge
somebody who's
everybody.
here. John.
John?
Here, John. Here. Yeah. Lama Yeshe, becoming your own therapist. What? Huh? These are free through Lama Yeshe Wisdom Archives. Look them up online. You get free books. You're welcome. Way to go, John. Okay, we're just going to go with you got to be present.
Gotta be present.
That'd be a nice title for a course.
Gotta be present.
You got to be present.
Hey.
Monica. Ah,
Okay.
Lama Yeshe, make your mind an ocean. Do you have it? Okay, cool. All right. This belongs to Larry. Zen of Oz. Remember I talked about Wizard of Oz? Yeah. Okay. So thank you all, and keep it up. Keep going. Keep at it. We're going to do another series.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Starting April 5th. 4 classes.
Another 4 sessions.
2 sessions, a week off, and then 2 more on the 8s. Inspired by the 8s. What are the 8s?